Viri Ríos and Leo Zuckermann had a tense exchange on Tercer Grado over the Rocha Moya case. And in this video, I'll tell you about the accusations regarding impunity, sovereignty, and even a betrayal of Morena's principles that marked this debate. On the program Opinion Tercer Grado, Leo Zuckermann and Viri Ríos had an intense debate focused on the diplomatic crisis between Mexico and the United States, triggered after the accusations against the governor on leave of Sinaloa, Rocha Moya, for his alleged ties to crime. In that context, Viri Ríos defended Morena's position and considered it wise for the Mexican government to demand solid evidence from Washington against the state governor, especially since he was still in office when it began. However, Zuckermann questioned this position and described the request sent by Mexico as unnecessary. She explained that at this stage, the United States only requested provisional detention and that it will be during the formal extradition process when they present the complete file with the evidence against the Morena governor.
I think the request for evidence is very good, and it's very necessary for the president to ask for the evidence.
The evidence will arrive. What the United States asked for was the provisional detention of the 10 accused.
On the other hand, Ríos said she understood why Morena considers the actions of the United States to be unfair. She pointed out that the relationship between political power and organized crime is not a new phenomenon, but a problem that has plagued the country since the 1960s, so she questioned why this is blowing up right now. Based on that, she argued that the Morena party has had to face a change in the rules, since the trafficking of illicit substances became a political and electoral priority during Donald Trump's administration, thus raising the tension. Regarding this, Zuckermann rejected that interpretation and stated that Morena cannot see itself as a victim, since it has a direct responsibility in the case. She recalled that the party came to power with the promise to clean up public life, as proposed by López Obrador, the founder of the movement. She also emphasized that it was AMLO himself who politically promoted Rocha Moya, despite the allegations that already existed regarding his background.
The ruling party feels that it is quite unfair, let's say, that they were the ones who got stuck with this nuclear bomb.
The party that is governing us came to power with a very important promise to clean up public life in the country, said Mr. López Obrador. Isn't that the same gentleman? He handpicked Rocha Moya.
Meanwhile, the discussion got heated when the debate turned to Morena's internal ethics. Viri Ríos argued that the underlying problem lies in the application of the party's own rules, since in her opinion, if Morena had respected its rules on honesty, Rocha Moya would never have been a candidate. In response, Zuckermann stated that the one who truly betrayed the founding principles of the movement was López Obrador himself, by supporting and protecting the governor of Sinaloa despite the existing warning signs. She also criticized the fact that people talk about Morena in the abstract, saying that this avoids directly pointing out those who made the decisions within the party.
In fact, if the process stipulated by the party's statutes had been strictly followed, Rocha Moya would never have become governor.
I think that talking about Morena in the abstract like that doesn't really show who was the one who made those decisions that brought us to this point. That really makes me angry because we Mexicans are the ones who have to decide which is worse, interference from the United States or interference from organized crime.
Finally, Viridiana Ríos denied that Morena is seeking impunity. She explained that although there may be a political elite within the party that resists taking action, the movement's grassroots base, made up of millions of supporters, does demand justice. However, she clarified that this demand involves investigating and resolving the case in Mexico, and not in the United States. For his part, Leo Zuckermann stated that the U.S. intervention is a consequence of the failure of Mexican institutions. She stated that although she would prefer these cases to be tried in Mexico, the Fourth Transformation has used justice in a selective way, just as previous governments did. According to the analyst, that lack of institutional action ended up opening the door to Washington's intervention in matters that Mexico has not been able to resolve on its own.
Most Morena supporters and those identified with the party want Rocha Moya to face justice. They want him to do so in Mexico. That is also very important.
I agree. What I would love is for this kind of thing to be tried in Mexico. The question is, why isn't it done? He did the same thing that all political parties have done with the prosecutors' offices, using them for political purposes.
What do you think? Would you like the Rocha Moya case to be investigated and resolved in Mexico or in the United States? Tell us your opinion in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell.